Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our ASK UWI session about our School of Pharmacy. Again, we are really excited to have all of you here with us today. And for those of you who have been at our ASK UWI sessions before, we really have these online sessions to allow all those who are interested in our School of Pharmacy and any other area. We have these sessions just for you so that you can ask all the questions you need to have answered. You can get anything that may be of some concern to you answered and all your queries responded to right here live online. Because remember, our deadline for applications for our 2024-2025 cycle is July 31st. And we want to make sure that you have all your queries answered for you to apply with us at the University of the West Indies. So again, good afternoon for those of you who are joining our session. I see that people are quickly signing up and signing in. We have quite a bumper session for you today. And just as a reminder, for those of you who've never been part of our ASK UWI sessions, my name is Nataki Kerr. I'm the Manager of Brand and Student Recruitment Marketing here at the University of the West Indies. And it is my pleasure to host you this afternoon and to make sure, as we just said, that all your questions are answered about our School of Pharmacy, because we really look forward to having you sign up with us for our next cycle. With us this afternoon, I have my esteemed panel with us this afternoon. I have Dr. Ignacio and Dr. Janki, who are lecturers in the School of Pharmacy. They are here with us to just share some information so that you would know exactly the programs you're going to be signing up for. You will know about the career opportunities that we have with the School of Pharmacy. And we also have our team from admissions here. We have Rayanne, who's here with us. She's going to, again, let you know what all the requirements are to sign up with our School of Pharmacy, because we want to make sure that you have all the information you need to sign up with us before the deadline date of July 31st. So again, welcome everybody. Feel free to put your questions in the chat. We'll be happy to answer them. We have our team in the background who are there waiting to answer your questions. And even if you don't have your questions answered this afternoon, which I doubt very much, we are going to put an email in our chat, an email address where you can send all your queries. Maybe you might think of a question even after the session, and we want you to be able to reach out to us and we'll be able to answer you. So we're going to put that email in the chat in a little bit. So again, welcome for those of you who've just joined us. Put your questions in the chat, or we also want to hear your voice. We want to hear from you. So you can use your raise hand tool, and once I see your hand up, I'll call you out and you can ask your questions to us live. So again, welcome. So let's get right into our program this afternoon, because we have some brief time with you and we want to make sure that we maximize all our time spent together today. So I'm going to ask Dr. Janki, Dr. Satish Janki, who is one of our lecturers in our School of Pharmacy, to share some information with you about our program. So Dr. Janki, straight over to you.
Right, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for this UWI session on the School of Pharmacy. I'll just share some slides briefly with you to give you an idea of the program and what we have in store for you. Second to reshare.
Oh.
Okay. Right, so this is from the University of the West Indies, the Faculty of Medical Sciences or the School of Pharmacy. And you would have just graduated from secondary school, or you probably would have been in the N1 program. And the big question on your mind is, where do I go next? Or what do I do? And based on the courses that you would have done and the subjects you would have chosen for your A-level matriculation, you will know that you want to get into the medical field. And you're not exactly sure where you should go. But because you did biology, chemistry, physics, and possibly mathematics, you will know that you want to get somewhere into the medical field. So when you're looking for your career of choice, what are you looking for exactly? You're going to be looking for a rewarding and diverse career that will offer you great career opportunities. You're also going to look for a career that will give you opportunities to perform scientific research. If you would like to get into the medical field, you're looking at patient care and innovation in patient care. You want to have the ability to work in different professional settings, and the School of Pharmacy will provide that for you. You can have jobs in the nursing homes, you can have hospital or in the primary care setting, pharmaceutical industry as medical representatives, and most importantly, and something that has become very important to some of our graduates is the flexibility, because pharmacy now is required 24 hours a day. In the early days, you may have a pharmacy that will be open for 8 to 12 hours, but now it's a requirement. And this fits into the lifestyle of many of our young graduates who are able to choose the hours that they would like to work. So now you know that you want to do pharmacy. You're convinced that this is where you want to be. Well, the mission statement of the Faculty of Medical Sciences is really to create an advanced learning center, create knowledge, foster innovation in medical sciences for positive transformation of the Caribbean, not just the Caribbean, but the wider world as well, because you're preparing yourself to enter the global market. So this is your roadmap to pharmacy. You get the entry requirements, which will be given to you later on. Then we have a 4-year degree program, after which you are required to complete 6 months of pre-registration. And after that 6 months, you work for 1 more year, and then you become a licensed pharmacist. So the importance of pharmacy in the medical healthcare team, because you're going to be able to counsel patients and answer their questions about prescription drugs that are written by the physician. You're also going to be able to advise patients on patient care. You're going to advise the physicians on the possible adverse reactions of the drug, how it's going to interact with other medication, and very importantly, and often overlooked, is the OTC medications, those which are available over the counter that will very often interact with prescription drugs. So you become the custodian of care, in that you'll be able to advise not just the patient, but the physicians about possible interactions with their medication. You will also be able and trained to advise on medical equipment and home healthcare supplies. When you look at the curriculum goals we have at the School of Pharmacy, it's both theoretical and practical. And the program is split into 2 portions. You have the initial phase where you have didactic classroom lectures, and then you go out into the clinical setting where you'll be exposed to different healthcare environments. So basically you cover the basic health sciences, the pharmaceutical sciences, and then you'll cover clinical pharmacy and pharmacy practice. This will enable you to become a lifelong learner and be able to benefit from continuing medical education that will help you to become a better pharmacist with respect to all of the future developments. I'll just touch lightly on the entry requirements because we'll cover it again. So for full-time students, you need 5 CXC subjects, which must include English language, mathematics, chemistry, biology, and physics. And then at CAPE, you will require either grade 2, CAPE, you will require chemistry plus either biology, zoology, physics, or mathematics. Right? But we'll talk more about the entry requirements a little bit later on. So the course of study of this program will run for full 4 years, not less than 8 semesters. And the program is going to introduce the student to the profession of pharmacy, what it's all about, and what you will be trained to do in the future. It will include the position of pharmacy in the delivery of healthcare, how you're going to interact with other healthcare workers, and the role that you're going to play specifically within that healthcare team. It's going to explore the major issues that we have within the society, political, philosophical, within the economic background that you will be working upon, and of course, the legal and ethical issues that will face the profession, because there will be times where you will be faced with critical decisions that you will need to make in the practice of pharmacy. And it also emphasizes the requirements, the responsibilities, and the attitudes that are essential for success as a professional. And it's also going to examine the various career pathways and the roles of the pharmacist. And with that, I'll be very brief there, and I will just thank you for your time and look forward to any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Dr. Janki. I see we have several questions in the chat, but Matthew is on them as usual. I'd like to welcome all our attendees. We have Jada, Linnell, Marie, Desmond, Michaelia. I mean, there are so many names here. I can't call everybody's name, but welcome to all of you. And remember, for those of you who missed our introduction, this is our ASK UWI session on our School of Pharmacy, because we know you all are all anxious and excited about joining us at our St. Augustine Campus, and we want to make sure all your questions are answered. So feel free to use our chat, put your questions there, and we're going to be helping you as soon as we possibly can. So I'm seeing that we have several messages here before I get to Dr. Ignacio. And someone mentioned, I think it was Linnell, who asked, when are the applications being processed and accepted? Now, Linnell, we have quite a few applications, and I know that constantly they are being processed and accepted as we speak. So it's a constant ongoing process. If it is you have an application inside and you're checking to see the status of your application, you can just let us know and we can check for you and get back to you afterwards. So that's not a problem at all, but it's a constant and ongoing process. And I also saw Michaelia asking about upgrading to Farm D, and Matthew told her that we are upgrading to Farm D, and he will get back to her before the session is over to let her know exactly when will be the start date for that program. So we are answering as fast as we can. You're welcome, Michaelia. So that send the questions in the chat, raise your hand. We want to hear your voice. We want to hear what questions you have for us, because our deadline date is July 31st, and we want to make sure that you're ready and that you've signed up and applied with us. So as we get cracking again, I would like to reintroduce our Dr. Ignacio, Dr. Diane Ignacio, who's just going to focus a little bit about the career opportunities that you can get involved in after you do our programs at the School of Pharmacy. Dr. Ignacio?
Okay, good afternoon, and thank you very much for being with us at ASK UWI, specifically the Pharmacy School of Pharmacy. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the pharmacy profession, which is a very fulfilling career path. Some of you know about pharmacy in that you would go into the pharmacy and you would, meet or talk to a pharmacist in the pharmacy, and you ask for something, or you buy something, or you get a prescription. But it's a little more than that, because the profession of pharmacy has expanded significantly over the years, and it's gone way beyond the confines of dispensing medications to pharmacists. All right, but it still is the most important role of the pharmacist. So we play a pivotal role in the healthcare system, and we ensure that there's safe and effective use of medications, while also contributing to patient care in many different ways. So it's no longer the physician write a prescription, you take it to the pharmacist. We take something out of the bottle, out of a big bottle, and put it into a smaller bottle, and we give it to the patient. It's a lot more than that now. All right. So pharmacists are often referred to as medication experts. Why? Because of their extensive knowledge of pharmaceuticals or drugs. So, as I said before, we actually do more than simply dispensing pills or pouring a liquid in a bottle. So what do we do? All right, we specialize in medication management. We engage in counseling the patient, because these drugs, even though it may seem benign, being, something simple is just aspirin or is just ibuprofen, it's a lot more than that. All right, because these could be very, very dangerous. Aspirin tablet, one dose can actually be a dangerous thing in the hands of a patient. So as pharmacists, we dispense medications, but our main focus is ensuring that the patients receive the correct medications in the correct doses at the correct time. All right, and we try to prevent medication errors from happening. So when we're thinking about a career path, there are many different places we can work, as a pharmacist after we graduate and we finish our internship, etc. We can work as we do here in academia. That requires a lot more intensive study. We can work in the community. meaning you can work in the big names like Superfarm, Massey, and then we have the smaller pharmacies that are owned by sometimes regular people and sometimes also pharmacists. Importantly, we can work in the hospitals. All right. In the hospitals, we may be able to work in the bigger areas where patients come from the clinics and they bring their prescriptions and we fill and dispense, but also pharmacists are involved internally because medications also have to be given to the patients in the hospital itself. So that there are different areas where we can work. So we can work as educators, we can work in research, and we can also work in wholesale departments. But the biggest thing is that we are involved in medication management. All right. So as a career, even though you work in these different places, the main goal really, no matter where you work, is to ensure that your patient is well taken care of. So whether you're in the hospital, whether you're in the community, even in academia, we have to make sure that we give the students all the information that they will need to go out there and be the best that they can be in whatever careers that they choose. Pharmacists can also work in the what we call industry. So you can become a pharmacist rep where you work for a particular company and you sell their brand of medication. It is actually sold to the hospitals, etc. in a bigger way, but you still have to know everything about that medication. So like I said before, it's not just just pouring out of a bottle and giving it to the patient. It's a lot more that's involved. So when you come to school for 4 years, you learn a whole lot, all right, to be able to do that one thing, to save that one patient, to ensure that, whatever they do, whatever they receive, that they will end up having a good quality of life, because medications are dangerous. So these areas will impact the roles and responsibilities of whatever career path you choose, and there are many. Okay, so thank you very much. I don't want to go into too much more detail. You will learn that when you actually come into the School of Pharmacy. So thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Dr. Ignacio. I'm sure that, everyone was quite interested. And if we have any other questions about career opportunities or any other question during the session, I'll be sure to call on you for you to help us answer all our excited potential students who we hope are going to sign up with us at the School of Pharmacy. And I see, Lynelle, I got your message, and I know that Matthew on the back end there is going to take note of your email, because we have your email address, and we know that you have an application inside and you just want to find out about the status. We're going to help you with that and send you an email afterwards. So we do have the information, so don't worry about that, Lynelle. We also had another questions about where our classes are going to be held. This is from Chelsea, and I see that Matthew answered, and he said that most classes are held at our Mount Hope facilities, subject to the availability of venues. We also have that email that I promised you would get, so any questions at all, you can email us after, because we're eager to hear what you have to say and to make sure that we can help you out. In terms of questions, Megan is asking, if one is fully self-funded, is the cost still subsidized by the government for Trinidad and Tobago nationals? So we have Megan's question there, and yes, and Matthew is there answering questions fully. So I'm going to call out as many questions as I can and as many responses as I can, but they're coming fast and furious. So while we have questions being answered in our chat, I see one question about entry requirements. So I'm going to ask Rayanne, who is here from our admissions team, just to reiterate the entry requirements for our persons here who are with us this afternoon. So Rayanne, over to you.
Thank you. So to be considered for entry into the BSc Pharmacy degree program, applicants must have passes in chemistry, biology, physics, English language, and mathematics at the CSEC level. And at the CAPE level, applicants must have passes in chemistry, plus one other from biology, zoology, physics, or mathematics, and also a third subject, 2 units of each.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, Rianne. I'm distracted by the number of comments because we have quite a few questions here with us, and some of them were asking about entry requirements. So we're really happy that you were able to provide that information. Let me just do a quick scan here to make sure that we have other questions that we have or have not answered. And I may even ask Dr. Janki or Dr. Ignacio, and we have Dr. Maraj, who's also online and will be able to help us answer. So one of the questions, and maybe Dr. Janki, you can help us here. Are there any required tools or apparatus that students would need to have before applying and coming to our School of Pharmacy? Can you just help us with this one from Linnell?
Yeah, in terms of equipment and tools, no, you don't need anything additional. Once you come to the school, it's mostly didactic classes at the beginning. All other materials that will be required for laboratory sessions will be provided by the school.
Okay, great. That's good to know. And we have Anjani who's asking, and maybe, again, Dr. Janki, you could help us here. She's asking, she saw at CAPE level, chemistry and any other subject, example, biology or zoology is necessary. And she is saying, I got 1s and 2s in chemistry and biology. However, I did pure maths and got a 3. Would my pure maths grade affect my acceptance?
Well, it will depend on the scores that she gets for the entry into the program. So the other courses that she did, she scored pretty well in those. So once she meets the entry requirements in terms of the number of points, she should be fine.
Okay, thanks very much. I hope that answers your question. We also have Jada. Jada, we have your information. So I know that Matthew would take your email because we have it with regards to the status of your application. And we will check on that for you. And again, take note of our email address because he put it in the chat earlier to make sure that you have that in case you have any other questions for us. Ron is asking, and maybe Dr. Ignacio could help me out here. Ron is asking if we have an online facility or if all the classes are face-to-face.
Once you're admitted into the School of Pharmacy, it's face-to-face. But is that Ron Herbert you're talking about? Because he's also asking about upgrade from associate degree from
Yes, Ron Herbert, yeah.
So if that's the case, we do have the mixed mode program, which is online mostly, and they are required to come for a few weeks in one of the periods to do a lab. So basically, it's an online program run.
Okay, well, that should answer Ron's question. Michaela is also asking about the tuition, and maybe Dr. Ignacio, you could help me too with it. Is the tuition a set fee each semester, or does it depend on the classes you register for? So she just kind of wants to know about the tuition.
Yeah, the tuition is a set fee. It's a set fee for the program, the pharmacy program. So every year, whatever the fee is based on gate, based on whatever percentage, yes, it's fixed. It doesn't does not depend on the courses taken.
Yeah. Thanks very much. And again, even though I'm calling out these questions, I'm seeing that Matthew has already answered them in the chat, most of them. But I just want to make sure that there may be somebody else here who wants the same question answered. So we're going to make sure that we at least call it out and, make sure that you have all your questions answered, because Chelsea was asking about if we tend to defer students. Dr. Janki, do we tend to defer students? She is asking, is that something that we do sometimes?
If it becomes necessary, because we don't want to take too much students and we won't be able to take care of them properly while they're in the program. So if we reach the cutoff point, then students will defer to the following year, yes.
Okay, great. And we have Kimberly, who is asking, she said currently she's an N1 student. However, she signed up for pharmacy and she's awaiting a response. She wants to know when she will know if you got through. Well, Kimberly, the good thing is that we have hundreds of persons who have already been accepted across the University of the West Indies, because our admissions team is working constantly. so that I'm quite sure that is being assessed. But again, we will take note of your query, Kimberly. Matthew will take note of your email address and we could check on that for you and get back to you. I know that everybody's a little bit anxious, want to know if they got in, but there's so many applicants that we have sometimes that it's a process to go through and check through all the applications, but don't worry, it's inside. And you could also check on the status of your application if you log in and check via your student or your prospect account, I should say, on our CRM, but we will also check and let you know, okay? Someone else is asking about status of applications. This is Ariane who's asking here. So again, we will take all these queries. And also for all of you who want to know about the status of your application, please note the email address we put in the chat. You can email us directly and we will try our best to make sure that you have all the information you need, because we know that, there's a bit of anxiety sometimes, but we are going through all the applications. Let's see what else we have here. Megan asked about the hybrid classes, but we answered that already. And right, and Dr. Ignacio, I think she spoke to Ron, but Ron was also asking about upgrading from associate degree that he received in Barbados, about what about requirements to upgrade from an associate degree if you did an associate degree in Barbados. I'm not sure if it's Dr. Janki or Dr. Ignacio could help me with this one for Ron.
Yes, we have a mixed mode program for pharmacists. So if you're already a pharmacist and you're from Barbados, yes, you can get into the mixed mode program. And I see Dr. Mirage here, he also put the cost is 720 TT per credit. And what else did he say? So once you are a registered pharmacist, the mixed mode program can help you to move from associate to bachelor's. And we've had students already upgrading from Barbados. So you're in good company.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Ignacio. And again, I think Matthew also, he gave some tips as to how you can check on the status of your application. So I'm reassuring you that they're all being processed, but then you can also check your account. I think Matthew put a little tip there for us to know how to do that. We have Linnell who's asking about the point system and what are the required total points for entry into pharmacy. So I'm not sure if Dr. Janki, you'd like to handle that one about the points for entry.
Yeah, the point system works where at A is 5 points, B will be 4 points if you're looking at GCA or CAPE results, and the point level for entry into the program is 23 points. So it must be 23 and above to get into the program.
Okay, that's an important bit of information there. And we also have Dr. Mirage, who's also the head of the team who is answering questions on the chat. So we really have a really robust team here trying to answer you all as quickly as possible, because there are several questions. Linnell is also asking about Caribbean studies. Dr. Ignacio, maybe you could help me here. She's asking, is Caribbean studies a definite requirement for acceptance into pharmacy?
I think I'll defer that one to Dr. Mirage. Do you have an answer? I'm not quite sure. I know we have what we call PEC that we do in the Faculty of Medical Sciences. I'm not sure about, yeah.
Dr. Mirage is really on it. For all I know, he's probably answered already, and I haven't even seen his response. I'm going to leave him to answer that one while
Sorry.
It's okay, Dr. Ignacio. What did he say?
That no. Caribbean studies, no.
Okay, as I told you, sometimes he's probably answering as we are chatting here. Thanks, Dr. Mirage. Chelsea is also asking, I am completing my O-level physics this exam season. I've met all my other requirements with only 3 2s in my CAPE results. And she's asking about her chances on being offered admission for September 24. Dr. Janki, would you like to tell Chelsea about her chances? Because she thinks she has what it takes. But again, it really depends on how many persons and how many spots we have. Yeah?
Yes, that is correct. Once she meets the entry requirements and we don't exceed the number of persons that we will accept for the year, then she will be accepted. If not, sadly, she might be deferred.
Yeah, so it really depends, because it's a really competitive area. And it really depends on how many persons have applied and what their various scores are. Linnell is also asking if GATE covers pharmacy up to 100%. Anyone of our panel would like to take that one?
I think
Dr.
Dr. Maraj has answered in the chat.
Okay, great, thanks. And then Amanda is also asking, could graduating with a first class honors in this program allow you to get a scholarship for a postgraduate degree in the same field? Is this possible? Anyone from our panel?
But if you do postgraduate work, there are scholarships that are available from the School of Graduate Studies. It does not mean that you necessarily, if you graduate with first class honors, then your chances of having it will be greater, yes. But there are scholarships that are available that you'll have to apply for from the School of Graduate Studies that can cover the expenses for postgraduate work.
Okay, thanks. We also have another question from Chelsea. She's asking, is it true that you can transfer into pharmacy after 1 year doing a chemistry degree? If any one of our panelists can help us there. Dr. Janki?
I think Dr. Maraj might be the best person to answer that question.
Okay, well, actually, I think he is answering it as we speak. So that one is being answered. And I see that Kanisha was asking about the points, but I know that Dr. Janki spoke about that already. With regards to Ron is asking about the PharmD, but I know that Matthew was on that one with regards to when the PharmD will be starting. But additionally, Matthew, Ron is asking about our acceptance into the PharmD program with students from Barbados. So Matthew will get on that shortly. And someone is asking, Amanda is asking, if a grade 1, Dr. Janki, if a grade 1 is the same as an A.
I'll defer that to Dr. Maraj because he's a specialist in that field.
Okay, well, I'll leave that to Dr. Maraj, whose fingers are pretty quick. So I know that he'll be on that as we speak. And we have several questions. And again, guys, remember that we've had this session. It's really just for what we're doing here to answer all your questions. The deadline date for application into our programs is July 31st. And we want to make sure that you have all your questions answered. We have put some information in the chat there for you, a couple links to further information on our website. We have the email that you could now email directly our School of Pharmacy, and any one of our panelists and support team will be there to answer you. But we have all that information in the chat. We just want to make sure that if you have any queries and we have not responded to them yet, that you have the opportunity to ask them. So I know that we are answering questions about requirements to the program. Is it possible to do a doctor of pharmacy degree in Trinidad? Or someone is asking if they have to go to Jamaica. I'm seeing that as one of our questions here.
If they are ready to do a PharmD, they may have to go to Jamaica at this time.
Right.
Because they're not on board with the PharmD. And we may have special circumstances also with the PharmD. So.
Okay. I'm seeing Lynelle is asking too if communication studies and Caribbean studies count in the point system, or it's only just the 3 science subjects. Dr. Janki, do you know this one?
I think Dr. Maraj answered that. I think he said no.
Okay, thanks. With regards to someone who's in the N1 pre-science program, they were asking if they have to sign up for a 3rd subject. If they already have passes of maths and physics, but I see that Dr. Maraj said he answered that already too. So again, some of the questions here, you know, we've answered them before, so you can just scroll up and down the chat because quite a few questions we've answered and cleared up for you guys. We've answered questions on our undergrad, on our postgrad, we've discussed scholarships, we've discussed career options, we've discussed a bit about the actual courses. Rianne she mentioned the pre-requirements. We have several pre-requirement queries here that we've been answering. Let me see what else we have here. We have about the maximum number. Somebody is asking about the maximum number of students that we take in a year, and Dr. Maraj said about 60. So again, it's very competitive, and we know that this is one of our areas that a lot of people want to sign up with. Remember that we also have several other ASK UWI sessions, so you must always check us on our social media pages on Instagram, on Facebook, just to see what we have, because not only our School of Pharmacy, although that's what we're discussing here this afternoon, but we also have several other programs that some of you may just be interested in also applying. So look out for those sessions, check us out on our website to see all the various programs we have on offer here at the University of the West Indies. It's a whole slew of programs, and we want to make sure that, you know, it may not be your first option, but you may have a viable second option that you also want to pursue. So check out all the options available to you. Yeah. Arvin is asking about Spanish. Is it true we have to do a Spanish course if we didn't do Spanish at the CSEC level? Dr. Janki, you want to take this one?
Yes, that has become a requirement now, foreign language, and it's not just Spanish. If you have French at CSEC level or Hindi, that will also be fine. If you don't have any foreign language at CSEC level, then you'll be required to complete a foreign language within the first year.
Yeah. And actually, doing a foreign language isn't a negative thing these days. It's actually pretty good seeing the way our country and the world is going. It's always good to have these things in your back pocket. So I would also endorse that. Yeah, so it is a new requirement. And it's something not just for the School of Pharmacy, but it's something that we're also fostering here at the University of the West Indies, because we want to make sure that our students are prepared. We do our scenario planning and our strategic planning, and we see the world, the way the world is going, and we want to make sure that our students are prepared in every way across all programs. Yeah. So we have that question answered, and I think we've answered most of our questions so far. Yeah, so anything else that you all want to know? Again, we have about 10 minutes to go, and I want to make sure that you have your questions answered. As I said before, we have given you several bits of information this afternoon. We've discussed the various programs, we've discussed some undergrad things, we've discussed some postgraduate information, we've discussed scholarships, we've discussed pre-requirements, career options. And I'm also seeing another question coming in from Linnell. She's asking, is it more likely to get accepted into the program after Unit 1 or after Unit 2? Now, I think this is after Unit 2 here, but I would leave this for Dr. Janki to answer.
Yes, you're correct, Unit 2.
Yeah, it'll be Unit 2. So make sure, and yeah, and Dr. Miraj also endorsed that to Dr. Janki. He said only Unit 2. And Kimberly was asking about the grade in CSEC Spanish. What grade do you need in CSEC Spanish to be exempt from doing the foreign language? She's asking. And yeah. And I think Dr. Miraj said a 3 and above. Yeah, Dr. Ignacio?
3 and above.
Yeah. So Dr. Miraj also answered that too. So you need a 3 and above in your foreign language at your examination to be exempt from doing it at the first year in our program. So again, keep those questions coming, but you know, we would also love to hear your voice. So you can use your raise hand tool. I'll make sure and look out for those hands. And if you do want to chat with us, feel free to ask a question. Kanisha is asking a question about how possible is it to further her studies in pharmacology right after doing this program? She's asking that. Dr. Ignacio, you'd like to take that one?
Yeah, I'm trying to think whether it's pharmacology or pharmacy directly. If it's pharmacology, yes, postgraduate. You can do postgraduate studies in pharmacology.
Okay, Dr. Janki, you'd like to chime in here?
Yeah, there's a PhD program, MPhil PhD program available from the Faculty of Medical Sciences. It's not in the School of Pharmacy, it's in the Department of Paraclinical Sciences at the Faculty of Medical Sciences, and a lot of our students actually registered here to do their postgraduate work.
Okay. So, okay, great. Thanks, Doc. Abby is asking about, is it possible that UWI School of Pharmacy would be moved to the Couva campus, similar to optometry? Abby, I'm not too sure that's in our short-term plan here. Would anybody? Dr. Ignacio is smiling. Dr. Ignacio, you want to take that one?
We hope to be moving, but we don't know a time or a date. Yes.
Yeah. And that, yeah, at least for right now. Also, let's see what we've got here lined up. Oh, and Matthew is also on that one too. Yeah, with regards to our move to Cuba. And Amanda is asking about campus housing, if it'll be available for the entire 4 years or only for the first year. I'm not sure about the campus housing. I'm not sure if any of our panelists could speak to campus housing and the availability of it for 4 years.
Dr. Maraj is saying, sure, it is available, yeah.
Okay, but of course you'll have to apply and go through the process, because we would have a process for things like that, yeah? Okay, guys, as I said, send in those questions. They've been coming in fast and furious. And Kenneth is saying, I don't know, oh, it's Kanisha. I don't know if this question was answered already, but does Mona and St. Augustine have the same point system with regards to entry requirements, Dr. Janki?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, maybe Dr. Maraj might be, yes, he says yes, they do.
Okay, great. And then Chelsea is asking about the admission for students awaiting results would be in the last week of August. I guess I know that there are some persons who would have applied and are waiting results, so that as soon as you do get your results, and you all could correct me if I'm wrong, you go onto your account and you upload the latest information, correct? Dr. Janki?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Yeah, let's see what else we have here. And someone is asking when the semester would start. So I know that we'll check that and put that in the chat, but it will be sometime between the end of August and the beginning of September. We'll put the exact date for the semester start date. Matthew, you could check that for us and put that in the chat. And we have another query here. If I am doing N1 summer school or summer classes, when will I get to know if I'm accepted? I'm not sure when N1 summer courses results will be out in order to get accepted. So how does that work? Kimberly was asking that.
I think that's the answer that Dr. Maraj gave, is that it's competitive, right?
Yeah.
So if that late, they will get an answer. Yeah. They'll be accepted for this, academic year.
For this academic year, because I know that Chelsea was asking about the possibility of the semester starting and not knowing if you're accepted. But then again, it depends on when you also applied. Because remember, we have persons who would have applied earlier, and then we have persons who are applying later. So I know that it depends on when you apply, it depends on the number of persons who've applied, how many spots we have left, and then we also have to meet as a team and go through the applications and determine who are the last bits of persons who will be accepted into the program. So it's all depending on timing. And that's the best I think we could answer that right now. Someone is asking about if you don't have a foreign language at O levels, if you'll still be accepted. And I think the answer to that is yes. And you'll just have to do one of our, and I see Dr. Janki and Dr. Ignacio nodding there, you'll have to do our foreign language requirements in your first year of study. And someone is asking, and Lynette is asking, is it possible due to competition that you would get rejected, even though you are 23 points and above? And I think the answer to that is yes. It really depends on how many persons who have equally good grades or even better apply. So it really depends on the number, and it's very competitive, right? And I see our panelists are nodding. So I think the answer to that is yes. And Dr. Marat is also answering there. Yeah. So guys, we're coming down to the end of this session here. I think we've answered most of your queries. There's a lot of queries, but as I said, that's the reason why we're here this afternoon. And Dr. Maraj is there answering as quickly as his fingers could type, and so is Matthew. And I'd like to thank everyone. Again, our application deadline date is July 31st. We know that some of you are still awaiting results. So you can start your application, and as soon as you get your results, you go in and you upload, etc. So that's something that you can do in anticipation of your results. And I hope that you got most of your questions answered. And someone is asking here, I think it's Kanisha, if you don't get in this year, if you could apply next year. And I know that Dr. Mirage is there typing, and he said, sure, of course you can. And also Matthew is still answering and letting us know when the semester starts. It starts the last week in August of 2024, as someone had asked earlier. And again, all the applications and the responses and the approvals really depend on when you apply and when you upload your results, and it applies. It depends on how many persons have applied, because it's really quite competitive. But I'd like to remind you, as I did a short while ago, that we have several options available to you here at the University of the West Indies. So we want to also ask you, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Check out all the options. We have all the information on our website. We have all the information you will need to know about our programs and the course content. So look and see what there is available. You might very well be surprised at the range of possibilities. And someone is asking about if they can submit their preliminary results. So I know that Dr. Mirage will be on that. So while he tries to answer Jada about preliminary results and so on, or Matthew tries to answer, which I said he's doing, again, we would just like to remind you that we are coming to an end. We really appreciate so many of you have been on board with us this afternoon, and we do have your information so that we will be reaching out, checking to make sure you have your questions answered and that you can apply. And we also have our email address in the chat. So in case you have any questions, like all the questions we've been seeing here this afternoon, please feel free to reach out to us. We would love to have you reach out, and we are anxious and able-bodied and ready to answer all your questions. And they're still coming in fast and furious about the entry requirements and the age. 18 years and over you must be. So gladly, I hope everybody here would qualify. And we have all the information here. Matthew is putting all the information here for you guys. Phone numbers, email address, several email addresses, website information, links. We have it all here for you to go and check and be able to do that research and have questions, maybe even some questions that you didn't even know you had answered and responded to. And again, feel free to check us out on all our social media channels, because we do have several other ASK UWI sessions that we have had before, and we have those that we've had before. They're on our YouTube channel. So you can also go and view those, and we do have several others coming up on several other areas, because we have hundreds of options available for you at the University of the West Indies. So at this point, we would like to close off, and I thank all of you for being here with us this afternoon. It's been a very busy session, but this is what we came here for. We came to give you information on our School of Pharmacy. We do have your information too. We also will have this video, this recording here, uploaded to our YouTube channel by the end of the week. So if you maybe missed some information that we may have presented earlier, feel free to look at it again. We'll have it up, I would say, by Friday latest. We're usually earlier than that, but I'm just saying by Friday to give us some time. And we were happy to be here with you this afternoon. Again, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us at our ASK UWI session on our School of Pharmacy.